Hello, everybody.
Right.
But we're going here live. So this is being recorded, and what we're doing today is the second in a series of concerning ARV. Today we're going to be doing ARV predictions on a political event. And these kind of events, especially right now in the history of the US, politics is getting very, very heated, and people have a lot of strong feelings about it. And it would normally be, I would say, rather difficult to do a prediction such as what we're going to do today. Will Hillary Clinton win the next US presidential election? Because people would just have strong feelings one way or another, and that would influence many of the normal ways of making predictions. In the remote viewing world, it would be called front loading. So um, uh, now, what we're going to do today is have an overview, and I will show you how in ARV, Associative Remote Viewing, we get past this front loading, and then we'll actually do it. We will make a prediction um, on that question, that political question about Hillary. What I want to make clear at the very beginning here is that from the remote viewer's perspective, just the remote viewing perspective of ARV, it is actually extraordinarily simple. The remote viewer has one task and one task only, and that is to describe and or sketch their feedback target. The cue, and this is the cue we'll be using, describe and sketch your 240092 feedback target. The remote viewer simply has to do that. Most of us have already become convinced that precognition is real. You use whatever techniques you've learned. If you're here for the first time learning it, I'll give you a little bit more instruction, but basically for ARV, you'll get quiet and listen to your subconscious, listen to your inner self, and you will get a transcript. And that is your job. You will then get feedback of what actually happens, period. It's got nothing to do with the question. Okay? Now, that's it from the remote viewer's process, period. That's all the remote viewer does. And people always seem to want to make it more complicated than that from the remote viewer's perspective. Now, the ARV, yes, ARV has the remote viewing, connects up with the feedback where it all starts, because that's the truth point. And then we have this judging. And we're going to be talking about judging, and you're going to do self-judging. And it's when we start talking about all this, it seems like this is complicated, but indeed it is not, especially from the remote viewer's perspective. Now, we're interested in app at doing the kind of predictions which are yes, no, and wagerable. That just has become our focus because we believe that'll influence society to actually become move forward towards what we call a consciousness paradigm shift. Now, we're doing binary predictions. We call each of the two possible outcomes sides. So there's a financial, in the financial situation, you would have an up and a down side. We specify typically stop and limits when we do financials. In sports, we do things like over under the total score. We do favorite underdog, with points. We could do team A, team B. With politics, we could do what we're doing now, by saying Hillary Clinton versus everybody else. Actually, we did roulette in our first one where you have red and black, but in that case, since there are zeros, you have to associate that with one or the other. So there are indeed two outcomes. And then there's yes, no. What we're going to do today is the yes, no approach and connect it with the politics. So you'll see that shortly. Now here is, again, we're putting in now the next level of detail, but as you'll see, it comes down to this simple connection between the remote viewing and the feedback. With the remote viewing, you intend, and this is a key word, you intend to create an RV transcript for your coordinate that's a good match to the feedback target for that coordinate. The feedback target is your truth point. It will be indeed associated with one of the two outcomes, the correct outcome. So you're always going to see the correct feedback target that's associated with the actualized outcome. And we have a cool down session that you'll do, and you get yourself set up, and then you start. And then your cue and what you do during your remote viewing session is describe and sketch your, in this case, you're going to do 240092 feedback target. We then have the feedback session. Feedback session, notice, is really very similar, but now you're at the truth point. So you intend to review your RV transcript and improve your RVing. The truth is the feedback target. This is where you have an opportunity to learn because you have your transcript in front of you, what you had predicted, and then you have the target there. So this is when you really do a tremendous amount of learning. You learn what you did well, what you might improve in. Again, this is a session. You get yourself settled. You do it when you feel ready. And again, you describe and sketch. Now, a lot of this is internal. Some people write it down in paper, circle on their transcript. Everybody will find a comfortable way to do this. But you're paying attention to your transcript and you're using your RV-like senses. You're kind of imagining the target again, which is now in front of you because you've got the transcript and the target, but how would you do it when you're in your RV mode? And part of the intention is to communicate, to entangle with the earlier remote viewing session because it begins here. It's like a handshake. In fact, there's a physicist who uses that term, a handshake through time, future memory. So again, the target is the feedback photo site. I guess I just don't know how to emphasize this more. Notice we haven't even said anything about the particular question now, because in ARV, from the standpoint of the remote viewer and even the judge, it doesn't matter. Now, we generally tell you, just like we did here, because it's of interest and we want to keep the whole process interesting. But notice, while you're doing it, you do not have any clue about what the association is between the feedback target and the two possible sides, the two possible outcomes. It is for that reason it has no front loading associated with it. You're sitting here and you simply don't know the associations. You're simply going to describe the feedback photo site. That's your target. Okay, so I think I've made that point enough. Now let's go to the associations, which in fact are blind. All you see are the target. even during the judges. So now we're in this middle phase, right? The key connection that makes this all work is the entanglement between the remote viewing and the feedback. However, if you're going to wager, and this is why we're doing associative remote viewing, you need to make a judgment of the remote viewing session versus the two possible outcomes. And we do that by randomly, okay, and that's the key word here, which makes this front loading so possible. And in what we're about to do here, the computer does it. So a human being does not even know what this random association is. So there's a random association with two photo sites. One photo site will be associated with Hillary wins, or the other wins, somebody else wins. Now, we AJ analyze and judge during this judging phase now the transcript that is given to us by the remote viewer, or we do it ourselves if we're doing what's called self-judging. And so we now have two transcripts which have had this random association with us, made randomly. So one we can call Hillary is the winner, the other is the winner. Now our targets today and most of the time are photo sites where we know that viewers can pick up sounds and textures and colors and action and all kinds of other things. So that's what the word photo site means there. So we're now going to be judging, analyzing the transcript versus these two targets, and basically the highest, what we'll call wagerable, which means, a pretty good fit, better than what you would expect to be chance. So the highest wagerable match provides whether Hillary or the other prediction is going to be the winner. And that's really pretty straightforward, I think. Okay, so that's how you do it. Notice no front loading whatsoever, because and even the judge at this point, he will be able to see the two pictures, but he will not know which one is associated with Hillary or the other. So the judge is even blind to this at the beginning until he makes a final decision. Now, what we're going to be doing is really very, very similar. It's what we call the yes-no approach, using winning entanglements. And here there is this random association which keeps everything blind with the coordinate. And that coordinate will be associated with yes or no. So let's just say it's no for purposes of the example I'm going to be giving here. Once that, and the computer makes this random association, at the same time, there's now an association with these two possible photo sites. But this random association then sets what's called photo site A to be the same as this random association. So if in fact the random association was no, photo site A, and the computer also makes that selection randomly, that would be no, and that would then be associated with the no answer to the yes or no question, and photo site B would then be the yes answer. Okay, so it's exactly the same thing. Now, of course, the question is couched in the no-yes form rather than Team A or Team B, over, under, Hillary or other. But there's still two photo sites with a clear binary choice here. And the judge, again, does the best matching. And if this time it matches with photo site B, then you get the yes. Okay, so yes is the prediction because this was set up that way by the computer, blind to you. And then the no if the good matches with A. So just to make this as clear as I can, let's do an example, okay? Fake example. Here's a transcript. You're sitting here now as a judge. So you're not wearing a remote viewing hat, judge feedback hat, you're wearing a judging hat. And this happens to be the transcript, you say. Okay, so you've got the transcript. And now you're going to go and you're going to have available to you the two choices. In this example, this is called photo side A. This is called photo side B. This is a real example. You will be judging this against this transcript, and we'll show you the TARG 0 to 7 scale, and then you'll be judging this transcript versus that target, potential target, that photo site. And that's what you'll do. You're blind to any associations here at all. You don't know if one's associated with yes or no. You simply don't know. And you, of course, do your judging just simply based on the two potential targets you're going to see. So in this case, I think you would agree it is pretty clear that you would make this association. You would make a judgment that photo site B, yeah, I would say, wouldn't you say that's wagerable? People, vegetation, hot, tree, pictures of two people. You know, I jimmied this up artificially to make it easy, a lot easier than judging is sometimes. But here is an example where you would go to photo site B. As a judge, you would be done. You would now give a high score here, a low score here, and you would be done. Once you finish your judging, then available to you as a judge, who's ever doing the judging, after this, you would then be able to see now that in this example, we had the no associated with the winning side. So this photo site B was associated with a yes. And so your prediction in this case would clearly be yes. So this is how, in this example, a prediction for yes would be obtained. If this transcript had been round and triangles in there and a structure, then your prediction would have been no. Okay, let me just pause here, and then we'll get to when actually doing it, just to see if there are any questions or comments about what we've done so far.
One comment in the chat box.
Okay. Does the timing of the viewing have an effect on the success of the viewing, having the event off into the future by months? Russ Targ, as it turns out, just put together some view graphs which he's going to show this coming Monday, and he took that issue on, and the answer is the evidence now suggests that no, it does not matter how far in the future. And I think that data went out to a month. So join us Monday, and you can actually ask him directly that question in terms of the plots that he has, Julie. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay. And of course, that's a very relevant question here, because generally when we do sports, we get the answer within days. Now we're going to have to wait until November to get the answer to this one. But I'm saying the evidence suggests it does not matter, and I don't believe it matters. Time is irrelevant. I mean, why should it matter? If you believe it matters, it might matter, but hey, get over that. doesn't matter. Okay, so let's do it. Remote viewing session. Now we're getting into the mindset, which we know is the key to ARV. All that matters is connecting up with your feedback session. Your cue is going to be describe and sketch your 240092 feedback target. Why don't you get out some pencil, pen, paper, and on the upper right, put your name and the time, and in the center at the top, it's pretty conventional now to put that number, 240092. You know, you're still pretty much in your intellectual mode, but you're starting to quiet down a little bit. You really set this intention. You're going to get a good match. What you're seeing in November will be associated, and you'll have this number associated with that picture. 240092. Notice I'm saying it out loud. I encourage people to say it out loud to themselves because their own sound, and then they'll say it out loud at feedback time. So why don't you say it out loud now? You know, you're saying it internally, but also say it out loud. The vibrations through your body will be duplicated in November, and that's going to act as a beacon to get you to the feedback session now. So set that intention for 240092 feedback. Now, expectation is a bit different. It's a kind of a wonderful word. And Joe McMonagle and Ed May wrote an article called Intention, Attention, and Expectation. And they identified those three components as being key. And the expectation is different because you're now expecting it to happen. You're almost coming from the future as if it's already there. You're expecting it. You know, intention is looking forward. Expectation is looking from the future back to now. So expect this. Get into the place where it really feels good that you got this good match. Doesn't it feel good? Yeah. Okay, you've got yourself a good match. You're going to expect to get a good match. Okay, so this is simply how all of this happened, and I came up with the coordinate, and we'll get back into that again. So begin to quiet down. The next thing we're going to do is do a cool down. And you've got the coordinate at the top of your page. You've got your name. We'll do a cool down, which will be pretty short. But Joe McMonagle really believes this is like 75% of the discipline. I'm going to have him on one of these Let's Talk so we can ask him about that in more detail. But I think what he means is if you're going to get this information, this precognitive information, you need to get into this place where you're touching that feedback session, where you're connected with this feedback directly through your subconscious, through your higher self. I don't care what word you use, but we know that there's this connection which allows you to gather this information. And so cooling down is kind of the process of making that entanglement, that connection. So I will take you through a cool down. If you have your own cool down you prefer, that's fine. You know, mute me and do it. We'll then do 5 minutes after I end the cool down by saying 4, 3, 2, 1, describe. Okay, so let's get yourself comfortable. I'm doing this as well. I'm getting comfortable in my chair. I suggest closing your eyes. Just Focus on your breathing. You're just letting go the day-to-day world. Just leaving that behind. Let it float away. Just relax. Becoming more aware of the quiet of your inner world. You're paying attention more to your inner world now. Just relax. Feels good. You've got this sense of this communication channel with your subconscious. It's opening more and more. Your intention to describe your 240092 target is in that communication channel. Relax. Witness whatever your sub provides. I'm going to count backwards now from 4, 3, 2, 1. Describe. 30 seconds to go. Go down, maybe get one more precept, one more impression. Okay. Why don't you put, okay, time's up. Gently come back to your normal state. Write end or end of session on your transcript. And you're done. You've done the remote viewing part of the ARVing. Okay. The next step. Okay. Everybody's hearing me okay? Are you back? I see everybody is muted. I just want to make sure. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, Scott, everybody, you're hearing me, Scott?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Teresa can hear you. John
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay, everybody's hearing me. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I'm back, let everybody get back into a kind of normal state. You've got your transcript. Well done. The next step is the analyze judging, which is the intellectual mostly step. There's a touch of intuition involved, as any of us who have done this for a while knows. Part of that comes just simply from um, evaluating what the transcript, the connections it might have with the target. However, it's mostly intellectual. Now, in trying to explain the overall process that you're involved in, I just find it best to show this, and I know a lot of you have seen it, and I wish some of you would give me another way of explaining this that's better than this, but I just still love this. I think it makes the main point, and that is that there's a skeptic out there who is going to be judging the transcript of our remote viewer. And the remote viewer says it's a charcoal drawing of a woodchuck eating a small orange. Okay, so that's their transcript. A little bit too much naming in the remote viewing world, but nevertheless, you get the idea. Our skeptic says, nice try, you little fraud, but that's a long way from an ink drawing of a beaver eating a tangerine. So hopefully you get the point, and I don't really need to explain it, right? This would be very high on the scale of comparisons. Not right on, but pretty darn high. Okay, so hopefully you understand that. A drawing is a drawing, yeah, and maybe not charcoal, but ink, and a tangerine's pretty darn close to an orange. So, okay. Now, let's do the judging. As I indicated, this is I obtained this, and I hope most of you I know are already in one of our app groups. But if none of you are, later we can talk about how to get you in one. But they all are done online. This one is the we approach, winning entanglements, and it starts with a tasking like this. They all start with tasking in one form or another via email. So this was the tasking, and you're now going to see exactly how self-judging would happen, which is what we're about now to do. So um, I did this under webinar workshop. There are lots of other choices here. We have quite a few groups. We're doing one coordinate instead of two. Two just gives you an opportunity for redundancy. And I'm going to go there. And then you simply click. Now, as soon as I click, up comes the request for a transcript for coordinate 240092. So I had done this earlier and got this, but I go back with the same username and I'll get the same coordinate. So this is the same coordinate each of you got. So all of you are using 240092. However, it's your own personal coordinate. That's also one of the reasons I like you to say it out loud. It makes it yours. Then you would do your transcript, and then normally you would take a picture of it, get it on your computer, you would scan it. One way or another, you get into your computer that transcript, and then you upload it to the server. Some of these other transcripts are ones that I've done. Occasionally I do independent judging for people. But what I'm putting up here now is a dummy transcript. So it's just a text transcript that says I'm just simply a dummy transcript, a test transcript. But if you were doing this yourself, you of course would upload your own so that we're part of groups, okay? Just like we're a group here, usually those different groups that we had, each of them would upload their own transcript, but then there's the general manager at top who would look at all of those transcripts, and that's why you want to upload it. So you will do judging independently, but then he will also do judging of your transcript as well, or at least he may and he can. So at this point, and in fact, you could be a group of one, you would now click submit and up will come. There you go. For the first time now, we are seeing photo site A, which was referred to in the discussion. So this is photo site A. Notice we haven't the slightest idea. We're still totally blind to the meaning of this in terms of the question, and so is the judge. And your job here as a judge is to now judge this on the TARG confidence ranking scale, which is a scale that Russell Targ and two cohorts at Stanford Research Institute put together to try to quantify this in a reasonable way. Some people could just do better. There are a lot of other ways of doing this, but we've sort of settled on using this approach. And I think all the groups use something like this. They get to something like this 0 to 7. So 0, 1, 2, and 3 are steadily going up in terms of better and better. By the time you get to 3, you're kind of just on the margin. You've got a mixture of correct and incorrect elements, but not enough of the correct elements to indicate the viewer has made contact with the target. You know, he might have, but you're on the margin. A little bit more than when you say chance. You know, there were some hints, but not strong enough. When you get to 4, you start for the first time to bring in the word good. Good correspondence with several. What does several mean? probably more than 2, 3, 4. You know, already you can see he's trying to make it quantitative, but there's still some vagueness in it. But there's a sense here, several matchable elements intermixed with some incorrect information. But here you feel comfortable that there was a psychic precognitive connection. That's a 4. 5, you're now talking about adding words with unambiguous. So you still have good correspondence, but now it's unambiguous, unique, matchable elements. You can point to several elements where you say, yep, that's definitely right there. That's definitely right there. I mean, this is really very, very good. Um, um, Period. It's just the components which you're getting are pretty much right on. Now, 6 and 7 introduce, in addition to being sort of really good at the level of um, um, non-naming, as you know, and maybe I should have mentioned earlier, we tend in remote viewing trying not to name things. You try to describe it in terms of its shape, its texture, its color, the feeling, but with more general words than actually naming the Taj Mahal. You know, um, you just want to talk about it as if you didn't know its name. How would you describe it? But a 6, they start naming it. Your AOLs, analytical overlays, now start coming into play, and you still have some incorrect information. And every now and then we see 7s where you get all of this together. So that's a TARG scale. It has enough vagueness in it that people often are different people looking at the same target in a picture will differ by 1, and they won't know, should I give this a 3 or a 4? We've made 3.5, and on this scale you can put in a 3.5, and that's the first time you're willing to say, yeah, I think there was a connection, and I'd be willing to, in the wagering world, I'd be willing to put a few bucks on it. So 3.5 is wagerable, and that's said here to remind you. And your job now will be to take your transcript and look at it versus this one and judge it fairly. We will then look at the second transcript and do the same thing. So once we put in 0 to 7, we'll choose one of these numbers here, and I will do that as the group manager after looking at all of your independent judgments with your transcript. And Scott, will you take care of the Excel spreadsheet today?
Yes, as long as they send their scores to the organizers.
Right. So send it to the organizer. Scott's going to put together a spreadsheet basically with your name or your email address, and then photo site A, and that'll have a number between 0 and 7, and then photo site B between 0 and 7. So you're now doing the judging, and we'll see how it goes. So you see the chat box. If you have any questions, I'll keep chatting here, but you guys do your judging.
So Marty, you want us to submit it to you or to Scott, to email it to you or to
I think
Scott?
it says, does it have
It's
a
in the
place
chat
to
box.
do organizer? Through the chat box.
Teresa just did it.
Yeah, I think through the chat box is a way of sending it just to organizers. And
There's a
we're
drop-down
doing
list.
that so you guys will not be front loaded. So do you all see how to do that? If there's any problem, we can help you. Okay, but I think it's you'll be able to figure it out because it gives you an option to do it to organizers versus everybody. Okay, yeah, so Good. A lot of you people are doing it. That's great.
Okay, you don't want the session, you just want the scores.
I just
Okay.
want, yeah, just put in CR. Maybe you can say A, and then a number. In fact, let me put here so you see really these are the choices, the ultimate choices, but you can put in anything between 0 and 7. And notice whether it's low or high, there's going to be a second one. So you do this one totally independently. Okay, good. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, John, I'm reading yours, but you didn't say what number you did want to give, so right.
Submit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't you, John Knowles. That was another John.
Right.
Okay. Okay, most of you are done. I'm going to show the other picture now. So if you're still judging, either don't look at your screen or turn it off. So I'm going to allow the others to now judge photo side B, but take your time. Judging is a very important part of the process. It's the judges that make the decision on how to wager. And I just know in the future we're going to have these ARV sessions that'll focus more on judging as opposed to this style, because the judging is just very important. So you take as much time as you feel you need. But I'm now about to show photo site B. And there it is. So now judge your transcript versus that. Happens to be tear gas, my tear gas canister. Okay, Tina, I see what you said. I'm assuming you're lost in terms of the judging. Why don't you, they're judging, so it's okay. Why don't you talk to me and
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have like 3 pages of like viewing whatever.
yeah, you did get 3 pages.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if I did it right or not. I don't know what method you guys are using or what anybody's using.
There are 19 people here and there are 19 different methods. Now, at the
Okay.
big picture level, there are probably many people who started with CRV, but typically in ARV, we get usually 1 or 2 pages. You got 3 pages.
Yeah. So what I did was I did the 240092, and then I did the ideogram, and then I decoded it. You know, the curving
Okay,
down to the
good. You did
raindrop and all
CRV.
that, right?
Would you be
So
willing to show me your transcript if I gave you, do you have a camera by any chance hooked up to your system? You do?
well, it's not hooked up to my system. That's the thing. So,
Can you take a picture of it and send it
oh
to
yeah,
me?
yeah,
Why don't you take a
it's
picture?
gonna take a few minutes.
Which page has, I mean, I think this would be useful.
The
You know,
S3,
this is all for education, so it'd be useful to do yours in some
yeah,
detail, and that would teach
I
you
have an S3. Like page 2 is an S3. Like
which,
a,
which has the sketches in
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Why don't you just take a picture of that um, and send
okay,
that to me? And you can
all
send it
right.
to Marty at p-i-a.com. I think you know my email address.
No, I don't.
Okay,
But
I'll
I'm
give,
gonna,
I'll here. In fact, I'll put it in the.
and I did it really fast, so I kind of lost like I think I
Don't,
probably screwed
don't
up a
make
little.
don't make any excuses. You generated a transcript. You know, we're in
Yeah,
this for the long term.
all
That's
right.
another thing to point out here. And anytime you do one of these and you do your feedback session, you're going to review all that. But you got a transcript, and as you well know, the viewer is the last to know whether it's good or not. Um,
I
so
don't care.
you know, if you gave what came from your subconscious and you had the strong intention and expectation,
Mhm.
you'll probably be okay. So let me send my email, and then you can copy and paste it. I think this will be actually useful for everybody because we can talk about judging, which, as I said, is extremely important. So you've got my email address. In fact, if somebody else has questions about their transcript, we might spend a little time looking at this. Typically, these last for 2 hours, so we're into this for 1 hour. We're not going to be able to do feedback now, so spending more time on how we do our predictions seems very appropriate to me. So if anybody else wants to send their transcript so we can talk about it, that'd be great. And while all this is going on, Scott is putting together the Excel sheet. Last time I did this, and that was took more time than I had anticipated. In fact, I'm just quickly looking at some of these scores. Some of the high scores might be good by emailing it to me. Then I can share it with everybody. Also, like I see 1.5 there. Anybody who gave it a 5, it'll be interesting. I think I saw a 5. No, that was a 0.5. Let me just see. Oh, yep, there's a 5. And I see some 4s. Okay, that is cool. Okay, so Tina, let me know when you sent it to me, and I will. In fact, I can put my email on my other screen so they can continue to look at this.
So Brett asked to put up the target scale again.
Oh, okay, that's certainly reasonable. Let me go back to here. Okay, so there that is. And I might be able to, well, okay, there's a TARC scale. I'll try. I can't show them both because that's there. Okay. Okay. Oh, good. Several of you are sending them to me. Very good. Tina, have you sent yours? Just because I've been talking with you, I think we can try to do yours first. Is it almost here or what? Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I just clicked send.
Okay, good. And thank you. I've got 3 others. Good. So we'll have some fun here.
Already, I sent one in the ODT file. I went ahead and sent one also in the doc file instead. I didn't.
Okay, that's okay. I'll be able to bring that one up too.
Okay.
I have a Brett. Yours will be under a Tina. It'll be clear. Okay.
Yeah, it should be say Tina_Young.
Yeah.
_
Okay.
I think I was able to send it to that address.
Yeah, you should be able to. Marty at p-i-a.com.
Yeah.
Here's the problem here with sending it from Yahoo. I don't know if it's just up here or what, but I can't. I have to send it from Gmail when I'm emailing Marty from here.
Oh, so maybe. But that's very rare. I don't know why. That's really upsetting.
If it's Eastlink, it may be Eastlink too, and if you're on Eastlink, that might be the problem.
What do you mean?
If you guys use Eastlink there, it could be a problem as far as sending it to Marty from Yahoo. I don't know why, but it does.
Okay, a lot of you are sending me stuff. Oh, okay, this is cool, but I'm not getting yours, Julie. Check that you did. Check that you sent it to Marty, M-A-R-T-Y, at physics-i-intuition-a.com.
Okay, I'll try it again.
Yeah, I think I got Julie's too.
Oh, you got hers?
Yeah.
So she sent it to you too? Okay, then you can forward it.
I'll forward it to you if I have it here. Let's see.
Oh, okay. She tried to send it to more than one person. That was smart. That's good. Okay. I guess I could have done one of the others. I feel like we're not being quite as efficient. Teresa sent one too. Okay, this is going to be really cool. So we're kind of doing a judging thing here because you guys will be able to look at this and make independent ones. I have yours, John, but I don't have a second one from you.
I just sent you a spreadsheet, Marty, with the scores.
Oh, okay. There, I've got Tina Young.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, so I think, okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's kind of dark.
Okay, so this is your S3. And let's see what happens if I do that. And I should be able to bring up this picture. Okay, so here you're a judge and you say you don't know what to do. You can tell us about the words on your other pages. But here, what I would see, and certainly what you would see, would be the structure and the man-made matches. Life form, I would say, actually does match. Do you, in your mind, when you said life form, do you mean people or does that include plants?
I just put life form. I'm going to assume that means people, but.
Okay, well, you know, and this is one of the problems when people judge other people.
Because
They don't quite know, but you, in your mind, it's just a general thing. that says life of some sort. Now, does this little
Yeah.
wiggly line mean anything to you?
Well, I think it means water
Okay, that's what I
or
think too.
liquid.
So I look at the water, and indeed there's water here.
Yeah.
I look at structure, and indeed there's structure. Certainly man-made. I don't quite know what to make of this, though I do see up here a roundish thing like this,
Where? Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I do that all the time.
Yeah. Well, somebody else. What? And this is the way we actually used to do it. We'd ask different people now, what would they give this on a ranking scale? Just looking at what we see here. What did you have on your other pages? Just describe it to us. Were there more words or?
Well, the words I picked up or whatever was white, blue.
Was white the first word you got?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Blue.
Blue, and then red, and then there was like a tough texture or feeling, like it was like leather or something, or some kind of, I don't know, material or something. It was, I don't know, and then it was smooth, and then I was thinking lilacs, but it was like fresh, it was like salty, and then there was voices, and there was this long movement, and then rectangular and round and large and
Okay.
inside. And then I wrote, I when I did my AI, I wrote I messed up.
You wrote what? Wait, what was the word? I just didn't hear it.
I wrote I messed up.
Oh, I messed up.
And then on messed, MESSED, and then on my S4 I put the only thing the only thing that I put down there was blue, and then I was following you when you said dig down deep and pick up another percept. All I could think of was great. And then I just AOL that and whatever, and then I ended the session.
Okay, Scott, you've done a lot of judging. How would you rank that? Or were you busy?
No, I got time.
And John, how would you
Maybe-
rank that? And Teresa, come on, some of us, what do you think?
I think that's a pretty strong session, actually. I mean, I know there's not much there, but I mean, we've got the water element below the man-made. You've got the round thing up there. You've got the colors. I mean, that's probably a 4 in my book, if not higher. But I mean, conservatively speaking, you've got all the elements of the drawing in pretty much the right place.
Yep.
I would say it's a strong session. I'd say it's a 4.0, and it doesn't really have any of the elements of the other session in it. So, I mean, it's definitely photosite A. I would put maybe a 1 for photosite B. I don't think it has any elements from that.
And Teresa, what do you think?
I'm conservative, so I would say like a 3. I mean, extra conservative.
Really? Why would you only give it a 3?
I wish I had more to work with. More elements.
But remember, she gave you the words. The words she said also seemed right on. Okay, but you know what? I don't want to disagree with you. You're an independent judge. I don't want to disagree with you.
I wasn't listening. If there's more than what's there, then
Okay, but nevertheless, the point is well taken. Different people will do it differently. How about you, Teresa?
I would say between a 3.5 and a 4, probably more towards a 4 because of the descriptors that she had, like salty and the rectangular and stuff like that. I think those were pretty strong.
I didn't get to hear those.
Yeah, okay. Any John or anybody else want to?
Yeah, I'd give it a 3 probably, because it is kind of sparse. Of course, I don't know the viewers, so that's an issue. But yeah, I'd be about a 3, like the same as Scott.
Okay, now this is so interesting because listening to her, I would have given it a 4.5.
What were the other descriptors? Because I was busy with something
White,
else.
blue, salt. Didn't you say something about salt and salty or something like that?
Yeah, salty
Rectangular. I don't know.
inside. I put the dimensions were long, movement, rectangular, round, large, inside.
Yeah. You see, if you were to go, and I think in another one of these sessions we should go through Joe McMonagle or some equivalent approach of doing it analytically. But looking at everything you said, I would say you look to me like, you got the gestalt, you got the salt, you got the water here, you got the structures, and you got an awful lot of stuff that matches. And I'm just estimating that if I were to go through it analytically, I would get a 4.5 or even maybe a 5. But
Could that sketch off onto the left be a mountain maybe? I don't know.
oh, did you have mountain too, or
No, I just no, not there, not on the
no? I,
structure.
I maybe I didn't hear what you said. But look, Tina, I hope this taught you what you do. You do just what we did here. You look for the matches, and you got good ones. There's a way to do it analytically by checking them, marking ones and zeros, or checking them and counting how many you get. But in this case, if you were to do that, okay, did this word match or not match? Did this word match or not match? You would have gotten well over 50% in terms of the matches. So at that point, in my opinion, you've crossed over the 3.5 threshold. But
I agree.
judges are all a little bit different, and you need to judge your own. But what I suggest, based on the conversation here, because some people didn't think it was even up to a 4, I'm going to put, when we get to the spreadsheet, and I don't want to do it now because I don't want to front load us too much,
Yeah.
but
Just
we'll
out of
change
curiosity.
yours and make yours a CR equal 4 for this one. And then you look at the other photo site here, okay,
Yeah.
and you judge it, and just because I don't, you do have a circle here, that looks pretty good. Um, but I don't see water. I don't, really see. I'm trying to turn my phone off here. Uh, I don't see rectangles. I mean, I do see white, but this one is, I think you would agree without spending a whole lot of time on it that you would rank this a lot lower.
Yeah, I would for
Okay.
sure.
So, but now
But
you
the
get it.
the only thing that is white, as far as colors,
Right.
that's it.
But if
Rectangular, no. Like, I think for me, I probably would have picked up the weapon, like tubular, long,
that's right.
that, cause,
If you
yeah,
connected with your feedback, you would get a very different transcript.
yeah,
Okay,
oh, for
so let's
sure.
just say we'll
So the only other thing that I have question about is where is that place,
I don't know.
that photo?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't matter because the photo site has in it something which can be verified from the photograph. So, like this one,
Oh, okay.
there's noise there, and some of the
Yeah,
viewers would have gotten a sound.
yeah,
You would have gotten a very different transcript. Um, Okay, so I'm going to
yeah.
say when we adjust yours, it's a 4 and a 1, and I think you now hopefully get what to do here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at somebody
Okay.
else's
Thank you.
transcript. Okay, go ahead. Do you
Thank
have
you.
another question? I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead. Oh,
No,
okay.
I just said thank you.
Oh, okay. You're welcome. It, it was really a good example. Okay, Diane, I'm going to choose yours because you were the one that gave it a 5, correct? Diane, are you with us? What happened to Diane?
I don't know, but I think she gave us 2 5s.
Wait, what did you think she gave it? I thought I had seen her.
I put 5 on both sides, but that's not likely.
No, I thought it was a 0.5.
Ah,
You have to, yeah, I happened to notice I thought it was a 5, and then I looked, well, I'm assuming if she were to send one, she would send the 5. So let's open it.
yeah,
And
side A was 5.
okay. Well, here. Okay, so now we're looking and we sort of know the picture, though I can put it side by side if it helped. But there's the land, there's the water.
I see the 0.5 now, yeah. So she was 5 and
Right.
0.5. It's 5
So
for A.
I wish you were here so she could tell us what she considers to be what's the language, unambiguous, unique. Well, certainly land and water are pretty good, but outside, man-made and natural, peaceful, happiness, fun, small parts of frame, parts around frame. I'm not quite sure I
She's
know what
got
that
a
means.
she's got a great hit rate.
Pillow-like, natural part. Okay, now that's another important thing to know as judging from the group manager standpoint. Scott?
Yeah, yeah. She's got a really high hit rate.
Okay. And what I'm saying is, from a group manager standpoint, from a judge, looking at the person's hit rate also influences the way the group decision might be made. So that
Dan,
was,
she's talking to us now.
oh, good. You're here, Diane? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. I'm going to put up, not this one, but this one. Oop. Let's see if we can get back to here. Okay. So if we judge it against this one, we see your land, water, pinnacle, point. What in your mind made this unambiguous, unique, matchable?
At the end or while I was doing it? I mean,
No, when you're
when I
judging
was
it.
doing it,
When you're judging it.
when I was, oh, because there was the land element, the natural and the man-made, that was very strong in my mind, that part. And then I got a feeling I was floating up above something. I thought it was, you see my AOL over to the right? I was on a boat at first with the the masts and things. Then I thought it was flying above. I was in a kite, and I knew it was just like AOL. So I threw that out. I went back to what mattered, and it was land and the water.
Yep.
And it was pinnacle, so I was kind of grounded then. I wasn't like sailing or flying.
Well, I would have to say, yeah. Oh my.
That's how I thought.
Well, look, hey, I'm not sure I see anything here that's off. What do you
Yellow
mean by
and
frame?
lip light.
What was that?
I don't know. That was, to me, there was something, a structure for shelter.
Huh.
I was thinking fence on the ground. I didn't put that in for AOL, but it was like it was definitely some sort of a shelter for people.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's sort of interesting because when you look at the words unambiguous, unique, matchable, you don't quite know by unique. I mean, there's a lot of land, there's a lot of water. And so I mean, I would have to agree that this is a 5. There's nothing that misses, but it just shows you that even that definition, I'd have to say, is sort of off because this is, I mean, I agree with the 5. So those words may also include the fact that you have so many of the things matching is what makes it unique and unambiguous. It's not like all you had was land and water. You have so much more than that. Okay, well, that's
I didn't have time to develop the picture, but if you compare it to photo site B, there's that's why I gave it a 0.5 for that. There's talk about peaceful and happiness and fun.
Yeah, exactly. the
Well,
exact
I
opposite.
can't tell if he's a soldier or kind of a recreational, but I'm pretty sure he's a soldier.
It turned out on this one there was enough in the heading,
Hmm.
which I noticed that it said he's firing tear gas.
Ah,
So he's some sort of, he might be police, but, you know.
I sent you a revised spreadsheet with everybody's
Oh, okay.
scores.
Yeah, let's
As a
do that.
second one.
Okay, who else? Okay, so that's side A. Did anybody get anything good on side B that sent it to me just to, you know,
We got a bunch of 4s, 4.5s.
okay.
John, Brett,
Oh, John.
Julie, Crystal, not
Okay.
John Knowles.
Let,
Uh,
oh, the other,
one of the other two Johns.
okay, John.
Mine was
Ash. Okay, let's do him. He's new too, so it would be,
Hello.
I
Hey,
sketched.
John.
Okay,
What
hi.
was your email address, John?
No,
It's
I
Mortal.
You got it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
sent it to Marty.
yeah, but
Okay, great.
I don't, all I have are words. Did you attach a picture? I have target number 240092, and you discussed it. Did you attach a sketch to it, John?
There should be 3 attachments. Yeah.
Oh, here they are down here. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, which is the one that has the picture? Should I do the top one? Oh, no, there's your,
They all have sketches, but
okay, well, so this is your website. No, these are websites. Ah,
if
wait,
you
ground.
scroll down, there should be attachments.
Doesn't look like there's any.
Yeah, I don't see any.
It says that I sent them to you.
Did you only send it once? Is there another one?
Yeah, there should be another email before that one.
Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay, there they are. Okay, so, and this is, let's see what this one looks like. Okay, so, oh, you gave me 2 pages. I think I can open up the second page. And you gave this a 5 in your mind
I wanted.
for the
Yeah,
second one.
I wanted. No. This was
4
for
and
the.
4. You gave 4 and 4 as far as I can tell.
No, I gave a 4 for the first one and a
Mhm.
2 for the second one.
All right.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking at this and I see all kinds of structures.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so
It's
that,
weird because I
okay.
kept seeing or wanting to interpret it as a castle on a hill, and but I was trying not to label it that, and I just kept trying to get the basic shape, and I just saw this. So when I saw the photo, it was pretty impressive, but then I'm like, well, I kind of went conservative because part of me wanted to go 5, but I decided to go 4 on the first one.
And I would agree with that. I mean,
Did
you
you
don't
see the
see
third
much
page?
activity. You definitely got the structures, but you didn't get water. You didn't get it was on a hill. Well, maybe this looks a little bit like a hill. But the fact that you have, I think, circular structures as well as rectangular structures. So I certainly wouldn't disagree with the 4. I can see other people might judge it differently, but that's how you judge it, and that's what matters. And
Yeah.
when you do this over and over again, you also learn about yourself because you get to see if it was right or wrong. That's why I like to do the ones over shorter periods of times generally. Okay, now how about
So we got for side B, we got high scores for Brett, Julie, Crystal, and William. Yeah,
okay,
Brett,
here's
Julie, and
okay,
Crystal.
let me open up Brett just because I see him right here. So I don't.
Brett's instructive because he gave a 0 for side A.
Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. AOL jet ski, and he gave a 5. Okay, let's get the picture up. Or what
I
number
have
did
a
he give? A
4.
4? A 4?
4 for side B is what I
Okay.
have.
Okay, no, I said that too soon just because we were
And there's
talking about 5.
0 for side A, which I
Okay,
don't agree with. I don't think.
let's, okay. So, Brad, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And I'm going to guess that this shape right here, of course, looks like
Yes.
that shape very, very much. Jet ski, skateboard. So give us your logic for a 4.
Okay, the canister, I see that shape. That was the main thing that drew me. And then even potential grenade up above it,
Oh, here.
like
The
out
handle
of it.
or the string
And
or
then,
whatever.
Wait, you see these two things being like related to this?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
And if you look at it, I mean, where the circular canister is, if you go down, it kind of below that, kind of, I don't know, where his face is, there's just some shape in there. If you go down, you can find his patch right there, drew attention.
Wait, you said his patch?
Yeah, his patch would be in this, like in that corner relative.
Oh, here, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. This is the patch,
Yes.
He's got the barrel of the gun, sort of.
right? And you see that as the patch. Interesting. Okay, okay. Uh-huh.
The words I've got: heavy, loud, cool, wind. I don't know how cool might fit. I don't know what it feels like.
Well, heavy you would certainly give, I guess you could give something to certainly loud. I would circle loud, the fact that you got a sound that's strong.
Okay.
Thirsty's. I like thirsty.
You like thirsty? Except salty goes with the other one.
Yes.
And so does jet ski and skateboard.
And the hills. What are those hills on the left or foliage?
I think those were trees at first.
Okay. Okay, so you gave this a 4. And what did you give the other one?
The other one got a 0.
Well, I would say that's definitely too low. I mean, a 0 means you got nothing. You'd have to check salty, and jet ski sort of connects to water, but you know,
daylight.
give it a 1, and this may be hills.
Daylight and cool. The water was at least cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say you have to give it at least a 1, but I can understand the logic of making it lower. Though if I look at this and forget everything you said, that these two things might look a little bit like buildings, but.
Oh, and the dome, the blue dome.
But nevertheless, if you look at it like percentage-wise and all of that, I wouldn't disagree with a 1 or 2. So, and this being a 4. You know, plus, and this is one of the reasons I'm actually a supporter of self-judging. A lot of people aren't, but some of the words you said were, you know, your feelings about things while you were doing the session. Okay, so we understand that 4.
Would you give it a 4 with this one?
I don't know. Remember, I would just be looking at this without. Well, certainly this. I would definitely give the other one low. So that's not a question. Here, with loud. Let me just see. Heavy is marginal. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
The other one would
stripes,
be heavy.
I don't know if that would fit in with camouflage, just not being able to quite get that.
Yeah.
But. That's a reach.
Plaid stripes. I mean, definitely do loud. I wouldn't know about cool. I wouldn't know about wind. Though wind, I would give probably a half. I use 0, 1, and I'd give a half just because, I could see where you would pick up wind here from
It's creating
here.
wind. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I would give that a half point. I use a point system. Not salty, I wouldn't give anything for thirsty.
I like thirsty because people are gonna have trouble breathing and scratchy throats.
Well, that's interesting. Okay. Um, Judges all do things differently. Plaid stripes. I don't see any, but that implies clothes. You know what I mean? Maybe, but I don't know. What is this word?
Echo.
Yeah, I'd give a 1 for echo. Alone. He's a guy alone, and daylight. I don't know. My first blush would be a 3 to a 3.5, just sitting here right now. I wouldn't make the connection of this with that necessarily. Would you, Scott?
No, unless I was the one who actually did the transcript and I had
Right,
the feeling for it.
right. So as an independent judge, I would have a hard time doing it, and I wouldn't know what quite to do with these. I like loud, though. So I might have gone to 3.5, certainly a 3. And again, as I say, judges are different by 1, but you in this case had the advantage of being the person who did it and sort of knew that this was a better match. Okay, so that's my answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me bring up your spreadsheet, unless somebody else really wants to have theirs shown and discussed and thinks it'll help.
I think Julie wanted because she got her 4.
Okay, let's see if I can find Julie. Why can't I see you here, Julie? Time, Leo.
Julie Beeman, yeah. That's in her email.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay, so here you are, Julie. And I can't easily rotate, but I think we can make. God, I love how clear, except for that one word, everybody has been readable. And as a person who has to read,
If you save it, you can rotate it.
let's just use it this way. Which one was she a good match to?
Side B, 4.
Okay. Okay. So Julie, are you there? Can you speak with us?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
give us your logic for giving it a 4.
Okay, so the main part that really stuck out to me is the AOLI. I learned that you didn't want to be too specific, so you would go I like, and then that's what I did. I did an AOL on the I, and then I said I like, and I think that's what to me, when you look at the picture, that I is like front and center.
And I understand that, yeah.
Yeah, and at sometimes I give higher scores to certain elements than other elements. In the eye, I was like, well, that's pretty cool. I was happy with that. Maybe. And then the squiggly was the end part of the projectile. The blue-green's kind of like, that's a tough one. But then on the arches, I think I was getting the helmet.
Yeah.
On the arch.
Yep. Well, and there's certainly a lot of round here.
Yeah, there is a lot of round. And then there's gray at AOL. I have a problem sometimes trying to discern what's AOL and what isn't. And sometimes I almost think, and this would be interesting to hear what anybody thinks of it, that if I'm kind of like on the fence with a certain thing, I'll put it down and then I'll cross it out as AOL, and then at some point I may grab it and call it good. But then if it's not there, I'm like, okay,
Okay.
forget that. It's kind of like a safety thing.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you're human like the rest of us, right?
Yeah, but that was my thinking on that.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people just put a question mark near it if they're not quite sure where it came from and if they doubt, but it obviously came into you in one form or another. Okay, and you gave it a 4. So again, using an analytical approach, but I also sometimes like to weight things higher than a 1. And I understand what you said about I. That's front and center. Gray. You know, I squiggly, sure. Blue or green. This is probably green. I don't know. I don't see any blue. See, clear, I would have to, well, he's clear, but yeah. I don't know. I'm just one judge. It's not like and I don't know you. A lot of judging does have to go with the person when you're doing it independently. But see, that's where self-judging comes from. And you gave a lot of weight to the I, as you said, because you felt that was so strong. But looking at this as an independent judge and not knowing you, I think I'd have trouble going even to a 3.5.
Yes. Okay.
I'm just, now this is where the learning from feedback comes. Now, this particular one, you understand it's going to take a while until you get the feedback, but generally, remember, you're going to be doing lots of these, people are into their hundreds now, and you learn from each one of them, and you learn whether or not your feeling about the I was strong enough to give it to you, because it's not going to happen only this time. Similar things are going to happen other times, and that's how the learning comes through the feedback session.
Yeah.
So, okay, anybody else want to comment on this one? 3 versus 4 or anything? You see, my other thing I'm thinking here is looking at the buildings. Some of these, the eye doesn't fit, but clear does. Some of these shapes do. But that one, I'd probably give lower on that, maybe a 2, 2.5. Cool probably works. Okay.
Thank you.
I hope, yeah, you're certainly welcome. Okay, Scott, I'm going to open up the last one from you. Where did it go? Oh, there you are. And here are the webinar scores. Okay. Oh, and you added Tina. So here, oh, wow. And this is a simple sum, an average.
We might, on Brett C, we might change him to a 1 on the, yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. That didn't even change that. Now, the other thing which I like to do is mark the ones, 3.5 we say is wagerable, but I don't know.
John Knowles was probably a pass.
Where's John?
Second.
Oh, because they're too close together. But even separate from that, the point I was going to make, for better or worse, one of the ways I also look at things is I look at the high ones, but I look at all of those which are 4 and over. Now, maybe those of you who are in my groups, I shouldn't tell you that. I do pay attention to the 3.5s as well, but, oh, this can't be right. The 1.7 isn't right. Look at all these 4s and 4.5s. Let's see what you averaged. C4, you didn't go down to 15.
Yeah, we had a lot more than last time.
All right.
We used one from last time, so.
Right. Let's see, B4. Oh, this is B8 also, so this has got to be B15. That changes the picture. Last time we really had we did have a stronger difference. This time the difference isn't quite as strong on the average. But now let me go and just finish my thought. And I hope all of you appreciate so much of what we do in app is real time and accurate. What I'm going to do is color all of those. It doesn't matter what color. I'm going to do them yellow. And it just forces me to pay attention to the higher ones. Now I would have captured this 3.5 if, oh, but I missed a 4 here somehow. Okay. Now the other thing, in other words, I'm going to say which sides, just by counting, would be more. This one, the differences are not large. All of these I like. All of these have big differences. Differences of 2 are really good, which says the person really went for one side or the other for whatever reason. And God, we can go on and talk about why people might go on the different side. Only one of these two sides are going to be the winning side, yet we've got good transcripts on both sides.
It's more like 6-4 for side A.
Exactly. 6 people. So that's the other way of counting, is a 6 to a 4 number.
You could scroll up and it says photo site A at the top of the column.
Yeah. Okay, so that's another way you can keep track. Average is another way. Another way, which I must admit I use sometimes, and it's tough as a judge. A judge is a tough job actually, but it's a fun job and you learn a lot.
Marty, you're missing one. You're missing one. Jim McCord just put in the chat box that his is missing.
Okay, he's a 4 and a 2 for.
So let me just try to make this look right. I'm maybe getting too picky here. Okay, let me insert here. And you want
Jim McCord, he's a 4 and a 2.
In that order?
McCourt, sorry.
McCourt.
O-U-R-T.
And I know that as well. Sorry, Jim. Dr. Jim McCourt, actually.
With a T.
Yeah.
The T is in Tom. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's more like 7.
I have to change wait. A 2, a 4, and a...
I'm just saying at the end, number of people is now 7.
Right, but wait, what is this number? Was it a 2?
Yeah, it's a 2, yeah.
Okay, so this goes to white. This goes to yellow. So this, you're seeing how at least one group manager works. Right, this goes to 7. Well, okay, now let's not worry about that. And he's still got a difference of 2. So I think actually doing that additional analysis overrides the fact that this is not up to a 3.5. But frankly, the ones that are under 3.5, I usually ignore. In fact, if I were to do an average, I would take out all the ones that are not wagerable. I would probably take out this one. You know, I would use, let's just say the ones we would use. So I would use this. Well, looks like I would, everybody got reasonably good sessions.
The average is a little over 4, yeah.
Yeah, you see, because these are passes. And at least my personal philosophy has been to just ignore passes. a 3 pass is the same as a 2 pass, and sometimes I lie about that too. You know, you got to give yourself a little space here depending on the exact situation. But generally, I would just look at the ones that I say, okay, this is a prediction. This one I didn't count as a prediction because the difference was too small. And what we found is that differences of 2 tend to do really well. Differences of 1 are even on the margin, but differences of a half are too close. Okay, so let's make, I think you'll all agree with all this, or maybe you won't, but I get to be the group manager. And I'm going to go with side A. Well, it's actually side 1, photo side A. And I would give the CRs of all of this. If I look just again at the yellows, I see a bunch of 4s. Of course, I made that happen, and 1 5. So I will give, but a lot of them. Yeah, you see, this is interesting. But I'm going to give that a 4. Maybe so many 4s. I'm going to give that a 5. You can see how hard it is. What number as a group manager should I give this? Should I average all of them? But the fact that there's 7 of them, I need to work on an analytical approach for that. And here, well,
It's going to be, if you scroll up, it might be below 4.
what might be below 4?
Oh, I see. All right. Just the yellows, right?
Well, but there are a lot of them. You know, I
Mm.
mean, if there's just so many of them. That's the reason I'm saying that. And they're less here, but nevertheless, I want to give it a score. You can almost give it a 4, but I'm now bringing in a weighting factor of the number of them and saying, you know what? I'm more confident than a 4 on this side and less confident than a 4 on this side. You know, here I did have a 5. Here I only have a 4.5 is the maximum. And so this is, I don't know how many of you play bridge, but ultimately this is a communication system. And I think you can use it that way. Sort of like we did with Diane. We didn't take those words literally, but that was a 5. And the other one was definitely different. And so you can do adjustments like that. Anyway, that's what I'm doing here, a 5 and a 3.5. So for better or worse, as the group manager, that's our prediction. Okay. There it is. So the next step, and again, if you're doing this yourself, you would go through this exact same step. We gave this a 5, so you go through the drop-down menu. I gave this a 3.5. Any of you disagree with this? We ought to get it on the record because, you know, as I said.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I know some of the hit rates for the ones from side A too, and I know they're very good. So.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. So this is a group. See, all of this becomes part of the record. A group webinar prediction. How many predictions did we have? Predictions with, you got it there? How many did we have, Scott?
We had between 4 and 15, that's 12.
We had 12 predictions.
12 transcripts.
Well, that's right. 12 transcripts. Okay. With 7 for PSA and how many? 4? Were there 4 for photo site B? Okay. Okay, now I'm going to submit it. And notice up to this point, only the computer knew what the prediction is. Okay, so either I'm a group manager and you get the same information when you do it yourself. We'll now get, ooh, well, that's interesting. Okay, the personal
So no,
prediction is no.
no Hillary Clinton.
No Hillary Clinton.
Interesting.
Because the event, in fact, now that I'm looking at this, I'm going to do a little code change and copy the event on here as well. But if you remember the event is defined in the original transcript, and it was pretty clear.
This is the underdog prediction, I would say.
Yeah.
According to Vegas right now.
Well, and let's go, let me just clean this up a little bit.
A lot could change between now and November.
Well, yeah. But, yeah. Okay, so, no, I just wanted you to all see the event was clearly defined in the tasking, as it must be. Event,
Yeah, it's
will
in
Hillary
purple
Clinton
there.
win the next presidential election? And we now predicted no. Okay, so the next step for many people doing the sports and doing financials is the wagering. I now personally consider wagering to be the fourth leg of ARVing. People do use ARVing for other things, but I would say at least all that I'm exposed to, it's like 95% potential wagering. It turns out probably only 60% of the people actually wager because they love the precognition and all of that. But the wagering itself is obviously a key part of it, and it brings in money and it brings in all kinds of other important things here. Okay, let me stop talking for a minute and find. I have here somewhere. Oh wait, I think I put it down here. Not there. Oh, here it is, 5Dimes. Okay, so 5Dimes is a website that I use, one of them for wagering. And let me show you what the odds are there. So, here are the, okay, let me make this bigger. It does all the standard sports, and then under other sports, it has politics. Okay. And then here are all the things that you can wager on in terms of politics. And, there's pretty much everything you can imagine in terms of the Republican Democratic conventions, individual races, that sort of thing.
Zoom way in again.
Yeah. And then we get down to U.S. presidential.
There's Hillary Clinton wins election.
And wait, where U.S. presidential election. So this is the nominees, but wait, where's Clinton?
You scroll up.
Yeah, it was minus 190.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so here she is, minus 190. Now, that's very interesting because this morning, I wrote down what it was this morning. It was 185.
And yesterday, before her investigation heated up yesterday, I think she was higher.
Well, it was 170 when I put out the original announcement, because I wrote that one down too. So minus 190 is better. the odds makers, and that's probably based on where the money is coming in because they try to balance that. The odds makers have now said, if you're willing to wager $190, I'll take that bet and you will get back your 190 plus 100. So she is definitely the favorite. All the other people together, which is where we are, because we're on the no side, right? This would be a yes, we're right here. So I'm willing to wager. Well, I'm just going to put it in. This is amazing, you know. This is kind of amazing. But we were pretty cool, guys. I'm going to put $20 on this. And, well, let me do 10, just so you can see that, the next step should tell me how much I'm going to win. But it should be $16.50. Of course, everything scales. So,
Whose field?
say that again.
Whose field? Because field wins.
The field wins is anybody but Hillary.
Oh, right.
So this is a yes/no. This is the yes. This is the no. And they'll take either side of that wager. And right now, you can see how they see it. Donald Trump. Wow, look at this. This goes against what they're saying in the newspaper. Oh, no, this is winning the election. Let's just see what they say about him winning the Republican. Yeah. Oh, wow. So he is an extraordinarily, according to the...
No, not there. You have to go down. That's just Mississippi.
Oh, that's Mississippi. Okay, wait.
If you go five lines down. Five lines down.
I thought Super Tuesday was already done.
It is, but there's more to come.
Not for the nominee. Minus 240.
Oh, they used to do it all on Super Tuesday.
You have to scroll the other way, Marty, for Trump.
No, they got some other big states coming up. It's not settled yet.
Isn't it here?
Oh, yeah. There it is. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So notice they're saying he is a stronger favorite to take the Republican nomination, but to win it, he's the underdog. Well, and that's, of course, because Hillary. You could do another binary. Would it be Hillary or Trump as a winner? But we're not going to play that game. But it's interesting that he is actually stronger to win the Republican nomination versus her. But they're pretty close, I suppose, 240 versus 190. There's the 240, and there's the 190. Okay, so, hey, we came up here with a prediction. I am going to put $10 on it. And at this point, it's no different than a sports bet in terms of their logic. So I hit continue. And there it is. So I'm risking $10 to win 16. And that really means win. So I'll get back my $10 plus the $16.50. And that's because we're going in the underdog direction.
You scroll in, zoom in.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Scott. So there's the risking and the win. And it says the field wins, which means anybody but Hillary here. And hopefully I remember my password. Okay. So I guess it took it, right?
Zoom in again.
Yeah, I don't use 5 dimes. I'm surprised it didn't. Oh, your wager has been successfully accepted. Okay. So I can update my password. Okay, so that's it, folks. We made the prediction.
We won't get feedback until November.
We won't get feedback until November. But that is the next step. And as I've emphasized, I think the point of view, which agrees with the physics, it agrees with everything we know about precognition, it, like the truth point, is where you really ought to think of it as beginning. It's sort of the causal event which then feeds back and has an effect at remote viewing time. Precognition turns cause and effect backwards. And there are now actual physical conferences on retrocausality. That's what the rather small but still existing physicist community would call it. So precognition indeed begins with the feedback. It's like time is flowing backwards, but I happen to like the eternal now model, which basically says everything is here now. Einstein said time is just so everything doesn't happen at once, which is kind of cool. So you can experience these moments one at a time. And feedback is necessary. How else would you know if your prediction was correct, a hit or a miss? Now, some people say that feedback is not necessary, and they give a good example of that with a fellow who died. And I'm willing to say maybe it isn't necessary, but in ARV, it is necessary because a key part of ARV is knowing whether you got a hit or miss. So in ARV, feedback is necessary. And feedback times are the ideal time to learn about your communication channel. You know, you went through this whole process, you know the truth at the end, use it to keep improving. And it's my belief that the improvements really never end. Yeah, if you ever get to 100%, fine. You know, you're in some sort of different place, I suppose. But I even think there's a Heisenberg uncertainty principle that's never going to let us get to 100%, you know, for like 1,000 of these in a row. But there's always more to learn. You know, you might want to improve your colors. You might want to improve whether you get sounds. You might want to improve your judging. There's always going to be more to learn in this really marvelous, mysterious field that we're in. Okay. We did it. I'm done. Questions, comments?
Yeah, how do you improve on a where you're collecting the data? Like, say if I don't pick up taste or smells very well.
When you become part of an app group, data is automatically saved for you. I'm just wondering if I have anything here to show you.
Like, is it impossible for me, because like I have a hard time with that, like the smells and the scent, like even sounds, like it's like I don't hear or smell or taste anything. How do I know when I'm right?
Well, I tell you what I would suggest. At least this is what I do, and it's actually improved my ability. It turns out with taste. Whenever I get a feedback photo that clearly has something that I should taste, okay?
Yeah.
I will look at it and get into what I call the RV senses and imagine tasting it. I mean, you just do it. You know, if it's chocolate, I imagine myself tasting chocolate. I remember when I had chocolate last, and it isn't the same as if I was eating the chocolate. I mean, the stuff that comes in already, you got sketches, you got words, that comes in kind of in a subtle way and gets up to your consciousness. What I do is pay attention to what I get when I'm imagining myself eating that chocolate.
Right.
And I let my subconscious, and this is an important part of it, I let my subconscious know that that's what I'm doing. I want to get better and better at it, and I expect to get better and better at it. So the attitude that you raised that question was something which has to be changed, and the place to change it is at feedback time. In other words, I say, now I am going to expect to start getting tastes. And in your next session or the one after that or the one after that, you might get tastes. And if you don't, just keep working with your subconscious and ask, hey, sub, I really would like to start getting these tastes. Why don't you help me out here? The subconscious is a friend, okay? You know, we separate it, but of course it's all part of the bigger you. And what you're trying to do is open up this communication channel. And one way of looking at it is cleaning out the stuff that's stopping you from having that good communication. But treat it as a friend, and it will treat you as a friend.
So how are we assured that Hillary Clinton won't win?
We're not, this isn't, you know, one of the big things which everybody learns from being part of app is it's not 100%, and you have to live with it. And that's one of the reasons the world doesn't want to accept app. I think it has doesn't want to accept precognition. It doesn't quite know how to deal with that kind of uncertainty, and yet, of course, we deal with it all the time. But in making predictions, when you say you're making a prediction, it wants it to be 100%, and it's not.
So I went in sort of front loaded because we knew, for sure front loaded. Mm-hmm. I knew just from, like, she frightens me. So from there, like, I don't even live in the United States. Like, my family lives in the United States. Mm-hmm. I could go to the United States and work, live, whatever, and vote. But anyway, whatever. Yeah.
But you see, you're a good example. You're a good example of how it didn't matter. You didn't know which way you were going to go until, 15 minutes ago. So.
Yeah. You don't want to be biased going into the RV session.
Yeah. Well, I was biased.
Well, no, you were biased about what you thought. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jenny.
I didn't want her to win. She frightens me.
Yeah, okay, but let's not talk politics now. We're talking precognition.
ARV is a way, helps you to overcome the bias, because your bias is towards the subject matter, not the association that you're making with this. It's the prediction will be more accurate than if we did try to do the prediction directly. As far as being concerned about her being in there, just remember that the United States government is different than ours.
We'll survive. The United States
government. I know. It'll be okay. No matter what happens, everything's going to turn out.
That's how I feel too.
It'll be okay.
The long-term view.
We'll make it through.
Okay. I think we should close this now, and I thank you all for coming and participating. And come November, I will send you out feedback on this. We have all your email addresses, and or maybe we'll even put it out to the whole app group, just to remind them of how much fun we've had. So anyway, thank you all for coming, and keep precogging.
And you got a bunch of compliments in the chat window, Marty.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. You're welcome, and really thank you all. You know I love this stuff.
Thank you, Marty. Marty.
Right.
Marty, this is Teresa.
Yep.
You want to stay on, or you want to call me back?
Let me get off so I can start recording this. Stop recording this, Teresa, and then I'll start a new one. Okay.
Okay.